One early January morning in 1896, retired Colonel Albert J. Fountain and his 8-year-old son Henry climbed aboard their horse-drawn wagon and departed the small community of Mesilla, New Mexico.
Fountain was assisting the prosecution of a suspected cattle rustler and had an appointment at the Lincoln County Courthouse in Lincoln, New Mexico. On February 1st, 1896, Fountain and his son departed Lincoln to return home. They never arrived. Later, a search team found their wagon, their horses, and 2 pools of blood.
Their bodies were never found, and the dunes of White Sands, New Mexico, where they disappeared, have never given up their secrets. The Fountain legacy didn't disappear that fateful day, however. It lives on in the property that Fountain left his family, now home to one of the oldest bars in the region called El Patio.
El Patio sits on the same brick-paved streets that Fountain himself walked over 110 years ago, and is housed in the building he used as his own office. The bar sits in the heart of Mesilla Plaza at Calle de Perion in Mesilla, New Mexico, just north of the Texas border. Located directly across the street from the spot where the Gadsden Purchase was signed into law. The entrance kind of lets you know what to expect. You're greeted by old hunting trophies, 150-year-old adobe walls, and surroundings that are rich in history. We sat down with Al Fountain, the owner of El Patio and A.J. Fountain's great-grandson. Over a beer at the bar, he gave us a history of his place and the origins of his family in Mesilla, New Mexico.
Great-great-grandfather, the famous Fountain in the family, had joined the Union Army at the onset of the Civil War. He was in San Francisco at the time and joined out of there. And he joined a unit called the California.
After serving in the Civil War, A.J. Fountain ended up here in Mesilla, where he ran a law office and a newspaper out of the building that we were sitting in.
Just steps from the old Dona Ana County Courthouse, A.J. Fountain defended a number of men involved in the cattle wars of the time.
Billy the Kid was tried here for killing a sheriff. He defended it. He was his defense lawyer, and he lost his case. But my granddad, who was 10 years old when his granddad disappeared, in fact, he was supposed to go on the trip with him to keep his son company, but it didn't turn out that way. But he said that Billy the Kid, people have revered him as, he's an iconic legend in the Southwest, was no good. He said he was no good.
Wow. The building itself dates back to the 1850s, when Mesilla was founded, and was used for a number of purposes throughout the years. In fact, at least part of it has served as a drinking establishment for well over 100 years.
2 other saloons here that go back. One, Judge Roy Bean's brother ran a saloon here, and I've got a photograph of the other saloon that was called the Oliver Saloon.
Judge Roy Bean, the famous hanging judge, and his brother had numerous saloons throughout the West, including one briefly here at El Patio. The Fountain family kept the building for years until Al's father decided to open El Patio in 1934.
He was an engineering student at New Mexico A&M. One of his professors, my dad's name was Art, said, Art, if I were you, I would try to get into some other kind of business because they're not going to hire you because you're Hispanic. That's the story I heard.
That's the story. So he decided to go ahead and start a saloon.
A saloon.
Wow.
And during
the bar doesn't look like it's changed much in the 77 years since it's been open. Much of the 160-year-old adobe is visible, and the wall murals recall the West as it was seen from Hollywood in the 1940s.
Through the years, El Patio has been a spot to see celebrities as they pass through town, hosting them since practically the moment it opened back in the 30s. Al gave us a rundown of some of them.
James Earl Jones, James Olmos, Gilbert Rowland, Jane Mansfield's daughter. The Blues Brothers were in here one night. We had a band called the Mother Fox. Belushi and Dan Aykroyd were here for a concert at New Mexico State. And they came in here after the concert. They were looking for drugs. and John Belushi got up on the stage and sang a song with the band. Then he came out here. There wasn't anybody sitting at the bar, but he gave me a $50 bill and said, "Get everybody a drink." Clint Eastwood One of his first movies, he was doing Hang 'em High, which was shot up north of here near Radium Springs. Right. And he came in here one Saturday afternoon, nobody in the bar. He came in and ordered a can of Coors beer, and he was saying that he was bitching because he couldn't remember his lines.
El Patio has been featuring live music and dancing since its opening, mainly because of his father.
He had dances, and later on he had a little Dixieland jazz group. He played saxophone.
Oh, really? Your dad did?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah. They used to play every Wednesday night.
Today they still bring in an eclectic mix of music, from Tex-Mex to rock. The walls are covered with pictures of past acts they've had over the years.
Between the live music and history, El Patio earned itself a spot on the list of the top 50 bars in the U.S. by Men's Journal, an award that Al disputes slightly because of the label given to them, Biker Bar.
One time it was a biker bar. The bikers started coming in here, and it got so bad that Dad and I were thinking about selling the damn place. And then one day I had this idea about, I banned people that didn't have, they had to have a shirt with a collar to come in here.
Oh, okay.
And that did it. That took care of it. Can you believe that?
The crowd at El Patio might include bikers, but it might include college professors, artists, writers, local farmers, and farm workers. Basically, people from all walks of life. Biker bar or not, El Patio is a place you should put on your list of bars to visit. Between its history and the stories, you won't be disappointed.